everybody! I am so excited to be here. I'm going to be even more excited when there's actually people here and I don't talk to myself. Because I love the interaction, right? I do it on Instagram, but I also like to do it here because you get to be longer-winded. And I am long-winded. I also think that I need more than a minute and 30 seconds to explain certain things. Before we get started, guys, it's really helpful and important. At some point, I'm going to make a jingle and I'm going to sing it every time to hit the subscribe button and the like button. Those really help to get my message out, right? Because you know that the question is not, what do we do instead, right, of stickers, tickets, tokens, points, clips, and candy? It's what new information do we need so we know what to do instead. And my dream is for everybody to have the new information so we don't keep rocking it like 1985. So if you hit that like and subscribe button, it really helps me get my message out there so everybody can learn it and then do things differently, right? Kids do well when they can, and once we get new information, we can do better, right? When we know better, we do better. So today we're going to talk about special treatment and what kids think special treatment is and why it's not actually special treatment. But I think in schools, we don't have that neurodivergent neurotypical conversation. So we are doing things or meeting kids' needs. Kids need their needs met. Wow. The way they need them met. Because I know the kid, I know the temperament, I know how their brain works, and I have to make sure that I take all of that into consideration when building a toolbox and putting strategies in it. Except kids don't know that because I haven't shared any of that information. So it's really tricky for them to not see it as special treatment, right? So, and I think that I'm pretty sure a lot of kids are talking about this special treatment because we do these external reward strategies with stickers, tickets, tokens, points, clips, and candy, right? I could do a 5-hour YouTube live video about all the ones I know. I should write, you know what, every time I get one, you know what, I'm going to do that. I have a notebook right here because I take notes because I've drunk squirrels. Make sure I get all the things that are in my head. I should write the strategies down, all the, like the assemblies and the claw machines and the book vending machines and the points and the class dojo and all the PBIS things I've heard because everybody gets, right, there's about 4 million strategies on Pinterest. But when we do stuff like that, that does look like special treatment because we're giving kids, right? A lot of that's based on, it's subjective. It's based on how we feel. It's based on judgment. It is fun, fast, and easy and ends in shame, guilt, and embarrassment. But kids definitely see certain things as special treatment. The same kids keep going to the assemblies. The same kids keep getting the prizes. The kids we make it for actually aren't successful at these strategies. So I can see why the kids see it as special treatment. Of course they do. I would too, right? I remember going to assemblies where someone asked me this today, like, what about merit and scholarships? And I remember having an assembly and like someone got a tech ed award and someone got a English award and I was like, nobody gets the like funny, everybody wants to be with them because I'm happy award. That wasn't a thing, except I was fun to be with. I think I'm still fun to be with. And that's not an award anywhere, but you know what? It is what gets me the most amount of work. It is why I keep getting hired back over and over and over again because adults like to be with me because the kids are like, I had a kid call me the other day. He's like, you're just so chill. And I was like, I said, I'm actually not chill. You wouldn't use that to describe me. I am not angry and I don't lead with punishment. And when you mess up, I see it as a mistake and a way to figure out what we could do differently next time. He's like, yeah, that. And I was like, right, but I didn't get no merit award for that. I remember getting invited to this, like, my senior year of high school, getting invited to like a scholarship dinner, which means you got an award. And I was like, huh, diggity dog. Well, some of these kids got like award after award after award. And I'm like, and now, you know what, as adults, some of those kids that got awards, I was like, they might have deserved them then, but it didn't like turn into this thing, right? They're not like solving world problems. And I was kind of mad. I got one. I remember I had this crazy dress on. Of course I did. I had this shaggy haircut, and I had a fluorescent, geometric, like mini dress, tank mini dress. It was crazy. I wish I kept it. It would not fit me, but it would have been funny to talk about and show. And I got one for track and field, because I ran track and field from 6th grade all the way through college. And I remember thinking, like, that's it. That's all I get. Like, I'm a good student. I'm fun. I think teachers like me. Like, but because I didn't like, I don't know. I think that I saw it as special treatment for kids. I'm like, well, those kids are the teacher's pets and the favorite. And I think probably people saw me like that. And I don't want to be the teacher's pet, guys. Because that makes kids hate you. The teachers love you. The kids, it's a no thank you. So how do we have this conversation with kids at the beginning of the year, but it's not too late now, about there are different brains, and they're so different sometimes that they actually make categories for them. So, right? And of course you're gonna make this bigger if the kids are older, smaller if the kids are smaller. Well, what I mean by bigger and smaller is like different words. I'm kind of going midline, right? But because our brains are so different, they make different categories. One is called neurotypical, and one is called neurodivergent. And what separates those? So so neurotypical is what people would call normal, except we don't use that word normal. I say typically developing, or I'll say neurotypical. And then the other category is neurodivergent. It means that their brain works different than the normal. And then I stopped that right there, and I had this conversation about normal, that there isn't really a thing as normal, but for the purpose of this, right, I have to use that word for kids, and I go like this, and I'm going to explain what this is, right? So neurodivergent kids kids with a neurodivergent brain could have anxiety or depression or dyslexia or autism or ADHD. I don't know if any of you have those. And right, in this classroom, we celebrate those. I don't know if anybody has something called an IEP or a 504. That's like the help and the support you need so your brain fits into this neurotypical world, right? And then we say something like, it's not really fair that the world is set up for one kind of brain and not for another kind of brain. And when I need to help somebody with a neurodivergent brain, it looks like I'm favoring them. It looks like special treatment. But it's not. It is me knowing that every kid needs to get their needs met the way they need them met. So I am going to make sure that happens. I'm not going to let kids fall apart, melt down, burn out. I wouldn't say tantrum. Right, there's a difference between meltdown and tantrum. Mask, have a really hard time because I'm not going to meet their needs because I haven't had this conversation with you guys, right, talking to the students, and you're going to see me as favoring certain kids. I'm just not going to do that. Everybody is equal in this class, and everybody needs something different. If you came in and it was a hard morning, you got up late, None of your clothes felt good. Parents had to get to work early. You're yelling out, everybody's yelling at each other. Your first hour needs weren't met. You let me know if you need information about first hour needs. Your love languages were all out of whack. And now you came to school and you are hungry and you did not eat. I gotta feed you. Because? Why? Because your need right now is that hungry. You're gonna be able to focus on work when you're hungry? I can't. I'm 46. I can't do it. I get hangry. I can't focus on what's going on when I'm hungry. I also can't do it when I'm tired. So, right, my physiological needs and hunger and tired come first. Say you're up all night. You couldn't sleep. A lot of neurodivergent brains have a hard time sleeping. So you come in and you are dragging. And now you have to mask, right? I have to put on basically this mask to be able to fit into this environment because my brain doesn't work that way. So, and I'm exhausted. I want you to let me know that you need a break. We are going to figure out how to trust each other, that I'm going to give you a break, and you are going to use the break successfully so you don't have to mask, so you don't melt down, so you don't burn out. I know everybody's thinking what's masking and burning out, right? Masking is that I'm going to look one way, but inside I feel differently. Burnout is I've masked so long, I've put on that mask so long that I've suffocated and I can't do it anymore and I fall apart. And I need to be by myself. I ask a lot of neurodivergent brains what's so hard in school. Almost everybody. The smell's weird. Too many kids. Not enough alone time. Classes are too big. It's too loud. That's what it is, guys. So, that's tricky. So I think the first thing you could do as an activity, right, is say, okay, guys, and you could give them a piece of paper. I think it's more fun if you have special paper and special markers or crayons or colored pencils or something, only because, I was a kindergarten teacher for 10 years, so I really like school supplies. So if I got a cool book to write in and cool stickers to decorate it and cool markers, I'd be really into this activity. Draw your brain. Draw what the brain looks like and draw what is inside your brain. Right, I can say right now, or make a graphic novel. There's some kids that can't write but want to tell you a story about their brain, but they can't write. Just draw it in pictures. Make me a comic. Oh my gosh, it'd be awesome. Draw, but even little kids, even kindergartners can draw, right? Inside my brain. And I would have this before me. I would draw my brain. And I'd say, okay, so here you go. Guys, I'm going to be vulnerable. Do you know what that means? I'm going to tell you how my brain works because I want you to know that it works differently than all of yours. So inside my brain is, I can see it like a cartoon character that's probably has some unicorn sparkle something on, running after people to play with because I always want to be with people. And I think about that often. And it also goes from one activity to another and I never finish. So I'm kind of like squirrely. So I'm like running around in circles and I could see myself making that graphic novel and I would make it and then talk to the kids about it and being like, so when I start a sentence and then I stop the sentence, which I've done, I think, a million times here, and then start another sentence and then try to finish the first story, but I have slinky thinking like this. So I like tell 17 stories before I end the first story. But I don't remember what the first story was. So then I'm like, I lost my train of thought because I'm on train 8 when I should still be on train 1. Or I need movement, so I'm like running around the classroom, or I'm really loud and I'm not yelling. It's just that I'm a loud person. And if you don't like loud, like how do you tell me so I don't take it personally? Which right at this point, as a behavior consultant, I wouldn't take it personally. If someone's like, Meg, you are loud. Could you be quiet? I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Right? Like, did you guys see, right, if you're talking to the students, you guys see that we have headphones? That's because sometimes I'm too loud. Sometimes the kids are too loud. We have to design some quiet spaces in this room. You know what, guys? We have one. And then you wonder, like, what happens if two people are having a hard time? The rule has always been one person in the quiet space. Well, that was kind of a dingbat move by me. I made one. Like, where else could you go? How could you? What do you guys need? You could draw that. You could write it down. What would make, if you had a perfect classroom, right, another activity, what would it look like? Would you have these desks and chairs? Would you want to lay on the floor? Would you want cozy objects? Would you want headphones? Would you want to be able to chew gum and then or have lifesavers or something to like keep you focused? Would you want standing desks? Would you want tea stools? Would you want a variation of seating? Would you want fidgets? How would you want those fidgets to look? I would then teach them to use them as a tool, not a toy. Like, all that stuff we talk about, and when we open it up to like a conversation, the kids will be like, oh my gosh. Because you know how many teachers have done that probably in their schooling career? 0 to 1. And you know, if you wanted to start it like, I don't know, I'm on vacation this week, so I don't even know what day it is. Wednesday? We wanted to start it on Monday. You know what you do? Hey guys, you know what? I cannot believe we didn't do this yet. Right? We have to take our piece. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we didn't do this yet. I know about brains. I do not tell you about brains. And I have seen all the brains in here. And I didn't tell you the categories they could be in. I didn't tell you why I do the things I do. And I keep hearing that there's special treatment. And I wanted to think like, oh, I'm a great teacher. I would never do special treatment. And then, you know what? I forgot to give you the information. So you knew it wasn't special treatment. And I'm sorry about that. So we're going to talk about that now. And it could be 15, 20 minutes. You could do the activity for, I don't know. And you know what? The thing is, when they draw the picture, they don't have to share it with you. Hey guys, when you draw a picture, right, some people don't want to get up. Oh, it wouldn't be, let's get in front of the room and talk about our picture. No, because there are some people that are like, no, thank you, I don't want to do it in front of the room. Me, sign me up. And I'm in front of the room. I probably have sparkles and a tutu on. But if you want to tell me about your brain separately, right? These are my planning periods. This is, you can email me, you can show me your picture, you can write it down, I want to know all about your brain. If you want to share it with me, and part of it is that I think I know your brains, and I've been trying to set up this classroom accordingly, but the part I missed, I'm such a dingbat. The part I missed is I didn't tell you what I was doing. I didn't even assume you knew, I just didn't even think about it. I was like, I want to be the best teacher, so I'm going to do these things, which is why I did this, and this. But I didn't tell you why I did it, so it just looks like I favor kids. And I don't want you to think that. I don't favor kids. I just know that everybody's brain works different. And there are some that are in one category and some that are in the other, so how do I, right? And I've seen the category, so then I like act accordingly. Again, didn't tell you about the categories or what my actions meant. So, and what separates those two things, right? Like, they enter the world differently. They enter, maintain, and exit conversation and play differently. Neurodivergent and neurotypical kids in their brains do that. So I've set up the room to make sure everybody can flow in and out of conversations and play appropriately. And right, my brain works one way, so sometimes I don't know what I don't know, so I don't know what would be helpful for you. Love languages are different, right? And let's do that. I'm going to talk about love languages and what those are, right? If you want to know about love languages, you let me know. What's easy and hard for me? Social situations for my brain are really easy. I gravitate towards them. I do really well in them. There are some of you that are like, oh, I'd rather not. So, but now you're in an environment where you kind of have to be good at it or mask. And then how long can you do that before you're like, I'm worn out, burnt out, exhausted. And then I need something different. but because you haven't had this conversation with me, I didn't even know what to ask for or know that I could ask for it without getting in trouble. How do you take in information? Right? Do you take it and it like goes, mine just, sometimes information goes in one ear and out the other, and I don't think much about it. Other times I'm like, wow, I was loud. I was too loud and too close in that conversation. Or in that social meetup. I was like, phew. And I always find myself at the center of attention. I'm the star of the show. Every single time. I've had people comment on it, I don't know, thousands of times in my life. They're like, how do you always end up as the like leader, star of the show, in the conversation, the one that's funny, the one that everybody's kind of like, oh, that Meg. Because that's my temperament, right? And then we're going to talk about, I said, whether you're neurotypical or neurodivergent, we're all designed perfectly. And we all have a profile, meaning we all have a temperament and a personality. Let's also talk about that. Guys, again, I have information on that. Like, what happens if you're a dominant temperament? What happens if you are that interactive star of the show temperament? What about that sweet, sensitive temperament? What about that critical thinker, cognitive temperament? Like, what? We have an assessment for that if you want. And you can't get them wrong. It is you doing the assessment on you. And we could figure that piece out. So not only can you know your brain better, but you can know why it works the way it does. And I am sorry that I did not tell you these things. I'm a little bit embarrassed by it. You guys, that 15, 20-minute conversation right now, it's been 21 minutes and 55 seconds. That would change everything for you. They would not see it as special treatment all the way, in kindergarten all the way through high school. So I do this with kids every day. I say, did anybody ever talk to you about why your brain works the way it works? And what your personality and temperament is? And what you're naturally good at? And why your brain works naturally? And that 55% of you is heredity and genetics, so you just came out this way? And kids are like, no. Not only do they not teach teachers these things, which is stupid, because the minute our fannies hit the seat, we should learn about this stuff. But we learn about stuff from like 1985. And that's not helpful. I learned about stuff from 1985. I made a stoplight system. I had sticker charts. I did all the things in kindergarten. And then I heard somebody, and I was like, that's not what I was taught. Interesting. So I decided to listen up, get new information, and make sure that I did it well. And now I feel like I need to call like the beginning of my classes in kindergarten, like the first 3 years, and be like, wow, I'm so sorry. I put you on a stoplight thing on the wall. It was like 4 feet tall, guys. It was so embarrassing. It was so huge. Oh my gosh. And I apologize. That is terrible that I did that. And right, in a transformational relationship, self-acceptance is the goal. In a unidirectional relationship where I say what goes, and it's me and adults and the system that is the leader, the end result, the goal is emotional scars. That is not what any teacher wants, except we get plunked and mandated to do those things. We get plunked into that box and mandated to do these things. Nobody teaches us to have this, hey, brains are different conversation. And I am a dingbat for not telling you what I know. I don't know why we're not having those conversations. And sometimes we do have those conversations, but it's like in a curriculum and we're stuck in this little box of the curriculum. Like we're trying to have this very out-of-the-box conversation with this very in-the-box curriculum. I see it all the time. Just get information. And you could get it from me. You don't have to. There's articles and books that not only I'm allowed to buy, you're allowed to buy them too. And read up and say like, guys, I cannot believe I didn't do this. I can't believe it's February and this is happening. So I gotta make sure I got everything. I also know at 46 that I need glasses, so like I can't go like this. It's all like blurry. I have to like. I always thought it was funny when old people did that. They were like, "Just hold it over there. I can read it. I can read it so good here." Right? So we want to prevent this talk of special treatment. We want to not have, right, this masking, this burnout, this meltdown, this kids not understanding each other, right? Kids who stim. Have we ever talked about what stimming is, or do we just having these kids look at other kids and be like, "You're weird"? That's not true. Right? Kids stim for different reasons. We have to talk to kids why that happens. Kids who either are neurotypical or neurodivergent have big emotions and they get big fast. We have to talk to them about why that happens. Otherwise, they don't understand. And they make up reasons themselves. And most of the time, those reasons are not true. And they're negative, and it makes the kids not hang out with the kids that have these big emotions or stim, right? We, as humans, we gravitate towards love and kindness and positive stuff, and we walk away and shy away from fear. So if we don't understand something that's a fear and we walk away from it instead of, right, if we knew like, oh, he's stimming, Meg told me about that, I'm going to see if he's okay, because sometimes it's when kids are okay and sometimes, like when they're excited, and sometimes it's because they're trying to self-regulate. And maybe I can go help him. That's you going in with love. Instead of being like, oh, because that's not helpful. Because we want all, you don't have to be friends with everybody, but it is essential and critical that we're kind and respectful to everybody. So, and the way to do that is to get more information and to share what we know. And if I was to teach kindergarten today, that would be day number 1. I would talk about different brains, and I would use those words the entire year. And to think if we could do that with kids. Oh, I forgot neurodivergent brains, trauma. I talked about anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism, dyslexia. There's a whole umbrella. Those are the ones I work with most often. And trauma, I forgot about trauma. That now kids understand it better. And they can have that conversation, they can have that language, they can ask questions, right? Asking more questions is in my universal toolbox. They're not asking more questions if they don't have the information in language to form the question. They're just gonna pull back, right? Because it's fear-based. We need to jump in and say with love and say like, hey, I know why this is happening. I can help. Or I know why this is happening. I'm gonna go get the teacher because I'm not sure what to do. All right, guys. It has been. My son was home and I told him I would only be 30 minutes. He goes like this. He goes, "Sure, Mama," because he knows I'm long-winded. And I'd say I like to talk to people, but there's nobody here. It's just me talking to myself. Someday there'll be some people here. I don't know. Right, guys, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Here at Meg Thompson Behavior. I think everywhere. Meg Thompson Behavior Consulting on Facebook, at Meg Thompson Behavior. Remember, Meg has 2 G's. On Instagram and TikTok, I think is at Meg Thompson Behavior. If you put in Meg Thompson Behavior on anything, I'm going to come up probably. So find me, and I can help you with, I don't know, love languages, with, I don't know, all the things I talked about. The profile assessment. All that stuff is helpful. I did not know it when I taught, and I wish I did. I would have been a very different teacher. I think I was a great teacher, but again, I didn't know what I didn't know. All right, guys. I'm out. Peace. And I will see you, who knows? Tomorrow? I think I'm skiing tomorrow. Wish me luck, guys. I would say I am a good skier. I think it's probably I was a good skier. We'll see how that goes. Let's hope I don't end up in the hospital with anything broken. And I love you. Remember to click the like and the subscribe button. And I will see you soon. Bye, everybody. I just tried to use my mouse to turn this off, by the way. It's on my phone. drug squirrels. I love you guys.